welcome back to another edition of Pure Picks. Back here with your boy Top G. What's going on, man?
I'm doing great. It was a profitable card for me. I only had one fight that was wrong, and that was the Saeed versus Dustin Jacoby. But that was kind of a toss up for me, and I wasn't going to play that anyway. So, yeah, last card looked easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's just, go over the results a little bit. You know, bright side, it's our fourth winning week in a row. So been winning the weeks, but it's just we've been leaving a lot of profit on the table. Um, I would say where I messed up this week was that Urseg pick. I definitely should have stuck to the conviction that I had on the video along with Gerard and went with that 5-3 guy. That was the move because it played out exactly like how we thought it would. I just got a little sketched out during the fight week and thought he was just way too small, but size isn't everything, as they say in the fight game. So yeah, that's where I messed up. I think we did a good job with Sola at least. Wish we had some more. I was down to have some more exposure on him. Like I was down to have a money line on him, but I think that man, usually that's like one of our plays that we do where it's like less than -200. It's like a pretty good value for a guy who we think that was going to win and had a great chance of being winning in round one. So turned out that was that breakdown was good. But yeah, I mean 0.25 units of profit. That is unfortunately that's just not good enough. And we got to continue to strive and keep on getting better. But any thoughts on this card before we move on to the next?
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty easy card. I wish we had the Walter Walker by sub.
Yeah, we could have
But
hedged
he
that
kinda
out.
swayed me with, Peterson, so I held off on the Walker, but he's just collecting legs out there.
Yeah, yeah. I think the fade will come. It will come. It was just unfortunately this guy was not it. So yeah, let's just go on to the next event that we got. This is a really intriguing one because they're doing it in Belgrade Arena in Serbia, and got Uros Medic, who's obviously Serbian. This is a very obvious main event for him. They got a guy that just came out of prison and this is just, yeah, to me, this is crazy. But yeah, man, it's a really interesting card. It's going to start at 7 a.m. on the West Coast. I'll leave it to you, man. What fight has piqued your interest so far for UFC in the Belgrade area?
I mean, we could start with that main event, that Uros Medic versus D-Rod. This one, I mean, Medic has been on a tear. Yeah, just finishes knockouts everywhere. It was only the Punahele flash knockdown or flash knockout that he couldn't handle the Hawaiian. And as for D-Rod, he's also been on a winning streak. And surprisingly, at his age, 39 years old, almost 40, he beat Kevin Holland as a big underdog. Usually, I would be more wary about this fight because D-Rod is such a dog and he's just a very durable dude and he keeps moving forward and has the will to like fight it out past round one and keep going. And this is a 5-round fight. So usually I would be scared at this spot favoring the favorite, like in the past with Kevin Holland, this time Medic. But I think Medic's just been on a tear and he's been improving, especially against these strikers. And D-Rod is primarily a striker. I'm not so sure what version of D-Rod we're going to see because he's been out of camp, out of training for so long, being locked up in Mexico. So I don't know how great of a shape he's going to be with the travel and being 39 and not having a consistent training for the past, I don't know, however few months he was down in Mexico. So yeah, I think Medic for me is probably a lock. The only scary part is if D-Rod will be able to be durable enough and withstand the first 2 rounds and then push this into deep waters against Medic, but I really don't think that's going to happen. I think just Medic's just too fast and too much of an assassin in this one. So give me Medic here. Probably a parlay piece for me.
Yeah, I think D-Rod, if you do go Medic, and I'm going Medic too, I think he's also a parlay piece for me. What might be a decent hedge could be D-Rod by KO. You just put like a fifth of a unit on that. The only reason why is, man, I have seen Uros Medic just be a total glass cannon before. I mean, this guy has a lot of good KO capabilities. I think he's a fantastic fighter in round one. He's not like a complete dud in the later rounds either. So I think he's very live throughout the fight. It's just, man, I seen this guy get knocked out by Punahele, and I mean, I know Puna's your Filipino brother, but this, like, I don't know if that's a good loss to just get knocked out like that in round one. And you got D-Rod, who is a guy who just pretty much upset I think still a decent fighter in Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's not bad. I mean, he still beat him. But negatives on D-Rod and why I'm going with Uros Medic ultimately as a parlay piece. This guy's just been in prison for like the last maybe like half a year or something, maybe more than that. I just find it hard to believe that he's been getting proper UFC level training, conditioning, nutrition, all those things that you need to be a fighter at this level. And we just saw Uros Medic knocked out, maybe career ender on Jeff Neal, right? It's like, this guy's coming off a crazy knockout and those hands look really fast. D-Rod's not like the fastest guy himself. I feel like he's going to just be there to get hit. So yeah, I think I got to go Medic here. Something that also intrigues me is Uros Medic by round one KO. I think that could be interesting. It's plus 100 right now. So if you feel like the money line might be a little too much, I wouldn't mind having something like that on your prop piece. I can go that and then do a fifth of a unit on D-Rod for his KO, kind of hedge that out. But, minus 370, I think I'm okay with probably a unit on Medic. Maybe more if I don't overthink it too much, because once again, this guy was just in prison. So I think we need to. It's kind of like Conor McGregor, right? It's like this guy was like out of the game for 5 years against a elite fighter, and you're kind of seeing the same thing here. It's kind of strange. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm definitely on the Medic side for sure for this fight. A fight that piqued my interest really is I want to talk a little bit about the Aleksandar Rakic versus Marcin Tybura. I referenced Tybura, I believe, in the last video, and yeah, I can't he's fighting on the third fight on the main card for this one. I just think this is the ultimate Rakic get back spot. I mean, I think that this is the right division for him. Light heavyweight, he's a really big light heavyweight. I think he was cutting a lot of weight. You can just tell by his frame. This guy is huge. I mean, just look at his legs. This guy's a huge light heavyweight. I think that his advantages at heavyweight will translate. Rakic was one of the more athletic light heavyweights. I think that all of those things that he has as far as like the footwork, the athleticism, just the overall like technical skills that he has, I think it's going to translate to heavyweight because, man, like you got guys like Marcin Tybura who's ranked, and like the only way that I can see Tybura winning against Rakic in a UFC fight is that he somehow gets on top of him, takes him down, gets on top of him. I think Rakic is good enough to not let that happen. This Tybura, maybe I'll say maybe like 2 years ago, but man, he's getting up there in age. He's getting slower even somehow. He was already slow. Why he just lost to Tyrell Fortune. Like, come on, like there's a lot of negatives for Tybura here. I think that if Rakic really wanted to, I don't think he's gonna do it, but he could do what what's that guy's name, Delelji or something, Delelja. Yeah, Delaya. I mean, I think you just go in there, start like fucking throwing a lot of strikes at rapid pace, and I think Tybura will just kind of cave into the pressure if he wanted to. I think, but I don't think he's gonna do that. I think he's gonna pull out his best impression of Cyril Gane against this guy and just dance a little bit, do some kicks, do some shots, defend the takedowns. Worst case scenario, get a 30-27 on this guy. And if he finds a knockout, great. But yeah, I just don't see a lot that Tybura has unless he falls on top of him. And then, that could be a little worrying. But even then, I think Rakic is just like I feel like he's just a natural heavyweight to me. Like I feel like he's just been cutting too much weight. So I think this is going to help out. And one last thing about Rakic, I mean, just I'm looking at the people that he's lost to, right? You know, Azamat, that was a pretty bad loss, not gonna lie. But you know, at the time, you know, we all thought that Asmat was gonna be a contender. So he lost to him. He lost to Magomed, Yuri, Jan. That was a freak accident, though. I feel like all these guys are they just have a better skill set than him in some way, or they're like a little quicker than him. Even I think Rakic is quick, but he's not as quick as like a Asmat. Asmat is definitely quicker. Magomed, I think, is quicker than him, like faster in terms of the speed and the hands. Yuri, just very unorthodox movements, but I do think that he moves a little bit better than Rakic. So you just can't tell me that Tybura is going to do any of the things that those guys did to beat him, I think. So yeah, I got to go with Rakic here. I'm comfortable in having him as a parlay piece personally, maybe even 2 parlays. You can talk me into that too. What are your thoughts on this one?
Are you not scared that he hasn't won a fight in like 5 years since injury?
Yeah, that's one thing to consider for sure. I mean, he did tear up his knee pretty badly. I do think that he's been back, and the last 3 guys that he's fought, they maybe except for Azmat at this point, but you know, Yuri's a champion, Magomed's a champion. Azmat, I think, just had a better. I think he just had a matchup advantage against Rakic there. You know, it's just a quick guy floating around, got that one shot devastating power. You know, I just think it's bad matchups, man. But I do like the fact that he came back and he's fought 3 times. It's not like this is like his second fight or something, or his first fight back. I mean, we've seen him back. He's just been losing. Tybura, I mean, just going back to Tybura, man, I just don't, I'm just not too worried about Tybura unless he gets on top of it. Then I don't know, but I still believe that he's gonna get get back up on his feet.
Yeah, I probably got Rakic here too. No, I do have him here. Tybura, this fight kind of reminds me of like that Robert Whitaker versus Krylov,
Yeah.
the guy moving up in weight. But in this case, Rakic is actually a good size to move up in weight than Whitaker was moving up to light heavyweight. And I think it'll shape up the look of the fight. Will look like Rakic piecing up Tybura from the outside, like how Whitaker was doing to Krylov. And Tybura reminds me of like a Krylov slash Dricus at 0.25 speed, just throwing some sloppy stuff out there. And I don't know if that's going to work out against Rakic, who's just like pretty clean from the outside, very measured, and just like he's very competitive against these elite fighters too, against Prohaska, Ankalaev. Murzakanov was the only one where his speed couldn't catch up. And I don't know if Tybura has a quick enough straight hand to catch Rakic, which some of these other fighters were able to hit Rakic with, but those guys are way faster than Tybura. Tybura's at this age, he looks like a shell of himself. So, barring a freak injury, I think Rakic is also going to be like a parlay piece for me here. So, yeah, give me Rakic. I think Tybura is probably done, in my opinion. Yeah.
There you go, guys. I mean, you know, 2 leg right there off the bat, maybe. You never know, man. That could be a good value. You know, if it's a good, there could be good value paying some juice, right? I mean, minus 370, minus 350 is probably not going to get you plus odds, but and I feel confident in both those guys for sure. What other fights do you got on your mind?
This one right here, this one, even though it's like a big favorite as well, we got to talk about this. I don't know if this guy is a scam or a fraud, but dude, the Welsh gangster, man, Oban Elliott, this guy made me think that Seokhyun Ko was the next Korean oral by, and that guy just lost a unanimous decision against Lobosiani. Yeah, I always thought that Oban Elliott wasn't really that great, and his stand-up defense was a little suspect, even against. We were there at the the Val Woodburn fight.
Right.
We were there live for that one. I said, Val Woodburn can probably knock this guy out in the first round. And lo and behold, Elliott got rocked, and I thought the fight was almost gonna be finished, but Val Woodburn is just not UFC level to find that finish and continue fighting. But this guy, Michael Oliveira, dude, this guy's a complete unit and he throws with a lot of power. He looks durable to me. He's undefeated. His fight against Victor Valenzuela was throwing some pretty good power and strikes that was landing for the first round, but Michael Oliveira just looks like a juggernaut. And if Oban Elliott gets clipped, which I think he will, I don't think his striking defense is that great. And being in there with Michael Oliveira, I think it looks like a setup for a finish here and something exciting. So give me Michael Oliveira here, probably by knockout.
Yeah. I've only seen one fight of Oliveira. Just being honest, it was just that last fight that you mentioned. Can't take too much away from that, other than just looking at this guy. You're right, man. This guy's physique is definitely juiced for sure. This guy's got some juice to him that he probably has gone undetected right now. But yeah. The only worry I have is that obviously this is his UFC debut in a sense, like first time fighting the UFC. We really did not see anything that has to do with like grappling, right? In that last fight, I think that on the UFC stats, it looks like when Venezuela shot one takedown. I think Oban is definitely going to shoot more than one, and I know that after seeing Oban fight many times, this guy is a wrestler in a way. Like he likes to grapple. But the points that you mentioned, I think is just too overwhelming in terms of the trying to favorite Oliveira here. I think I'll have to go Oliveira too. And it's that point that you made about just his defense and getting clipped. Getting clipped by a guy who Val Woodburn, who is that guy's like 5'8" in the middleweight division or something, and he got clipped by him. I just can't imagine how he's going to handle someone like Oliveira, who's like she looks like a more like condensed and jacked version of Michael Morales, just like a little shorter, but just like more jacked everywhere. And I think the power is going to be way too much here. I can't even comprehend. I don't even know how much weight this guy cuts. Honestly, he probably walks in there definitely 200 plus because he just looks extremely jacked. But yeah, that would be one concern I have is the grappling, because that grappling could lead to potential like cardio issues or something. You never know. This guy's a lot of muscle on him. Maybe he'll gas out if he gets grappled. There are definitely still a lot of unknowns about this guy, but I think that with the matchup in front of him, this is the correct one, I think, to still fade Oban Elliott, unfortunately. This is going to be his third loss in a row after coming off 4 straight wins, but that's just the life of the UFC, right? Like you keep on going up and then you run into people that are just better than you. And I think that they got something in store for this Michael Oliveira guy. I do think that his upside in the division could be pretty good too. Like eventually it could be a top 10 fighter pretty soon if everything breaks right. But once again, though, we just don't know what his grappling looks like. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Let me look at some of the odds actually for Oliveira. Potentially, I could get swayed into something like a prop play for him. Maybe Oliveira in round 1, round 2. Oliveira right now, round 1 is plus 150. Round 2 is 300. You could even extend that to a knockout if you want to get some more juiced odds. But yeah, for a parlay piece, right now, yes, I'm leaning towards it, but I might want to go prop hunting for this guy in the round 1 or round 2 KO, honestly, because I think that's where the fight's going to happen and where the most value probably is going to happen too for this fight. Yeah, next fight that I want to talk about is kind of want to skip back to the co-main event. Yeah, man, I want to hear your thoughts on your boy Navajo, man. Like, what are you thinking, dude? He's 10-0. He's fighting Jan Błachowicz. Like, is this the fade Jan at this point? Fade the 43-year-old dude, or are we riding the Navajo undefeated? Like, what are you thinking?
Man, I've been picking Błachowicz for the past 2 fights, both against Carlos Ulberg, which I thought it could have gone his way. He could have won that. And the Bogdan Guskov, he almost had a finish in that one towards the end. But yeah, he is looking a little bit more vulnerable now at this age, especially against that Guskov fight. He was getting cracked. I think he was bleeding up a little bit. And this is what the third fight that City Kickboxing has been preparing against Błachowicz. So I think they're pretty well versed in how to fight this guy. And Navajo Sterling, up and coming, rising, and he just looks good. Like, maybe not the most dangerous, but it looks like he's got the IQ and the know-how to win a fight. And yeah, and I don't think his cardio is going to be an issue. I think his pace is going to be fine. I think he's going to be the quicker fighter here. Maybe the main thing that they have to watch out for is Jan's leg kicks and Navajo coming here on short notice. We'll see how prepared he will be for this one. So I think the trajectory for Sterling's just on the up and up, and I think his whole team is prepared for fighting against Jan Blachowicz and getting Sterling ready for this, even on short notice, I think. And yeah, Sterling's going to be my side. I don't think it's going to be a finish. I think it's probably going to be Sterling by decision in this one. So yeah, I'm getting off the former champ Blachowicz train and going with Navajo here.
Yeah. Sterling by decision right now is minus 105. Open up at plus 110. Yeah, for me, man, it's just unfortunately the only reason why I think I'm picking against Jan is because of Jan himself. It's just I think it's just a little too old at this point. You know, I feel like he's one of those fighters who he already kind of caught his second wind and then his kind of the second half of his career, right? Like, you know, becoming a champ. Yeah, he became a champ in his late 30s, man. Like this was kind of crazy. Like he was fighting the UFC, kind of a journeyman, and then started that run. I just find it hard to believe if he's going to catch a third wind here. Not a lot of fighters do that. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Like you really only have like maybe two arcs in your career coming back. I mean, I think we saw the start of it already against Bogan Guskov. That's the kind of fighter that I don't think he would have had trouble with even like a few years ago. I think he should have beat him pretty easily, but he got caught. And it's as you age, and I know the heavier weight divisions, like you age a little bit more gracefully because it's easier to fight up in those divisions when you're a little older. But it's just like the first things to go are always those like reflexes to me, like being able to gauge where the strike is coming from, the speed that it's coming from. Is just you still probably have that power, that old man strength that you have, but it's just I don't know if he has the same reflexes and the same just speed recognition. And Navajo is a guy who's coming to his prime. He might not even be his prime yet, but like physically, I think that he's really, really like good compared to where Jan is. So yeah, both of these guys are just on different trajectories. I think that I'm probably going to go with Navajo decision here, but yeah. So the interesting one could be the over 2.5 for this fight. Minus 200 right now because I don't think either fight is going to get injured. I mean, not injured, but like finished here. Another interesting one that I feel like Jan's just been in a lot of these fights lately, but like fight goes split decision is plus 600 right now. I could see another close fight, man. Like this guy just went to split decision against what's his name? Calls over. He just went to a draw against Top. I mean, it's a lot of close stuff here, man. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility that some kind of result like this could happen. So yeah, I think my pick right now is Navajo by decision, but I think I'm leaning towards going with the overs instead, especially since the price at Navajo minus 315. I just think it's a little bit better value to go the over 2.5. And at that point, you'd just be hopefully expecting Jan to survive, right? That's the main thing. What other fights do you have on your mind or anything else that you have on your mind for this card?
I guess going to heavyweights again here lower on the card. Jovan Leka versus Aleksandar Poppeck. These are a little closer odds. Jovan Leka, this guy looks like a really solid heavyweight here, and he weighs the full 265. This guy just looks to me like a smooth snowman. Just his frame and the way he moves. He's not the fastest guy, but everything he throws and the way he approaches fight just looks pretty smooth for his size that you usually don't see at 265. And he's coming here against Aleksandar Poppeck, who's also a light heavyweight coming up to heavyweight, like a Rakic. And the way he fights is like, it's kind of like a Rakic, but like a poor man's Rakic who's doesn't look that dangerous. Like he would burst and throw some bursting strikes at you, but overall he mostly stays on the outside and just measures without really throwing anything too scary from what I've seen. But he does have some round one finishes at light heavyweight, but I'm not so sure that's going to translate against this mammoth of a guy, 265-pound Jovan Leka, who also has some grappling too, not just striking. He finished his last fight by punches, and he even got a arm triangle choke on Charlie Milner in his other fight. So, man, this guy's 24. He looks like he's got all the tools, and this guy's not fighting on short notice. So, give me Jovan Leka facing Popek, who's moving up in weight for this.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about either of these guys. Just looking at the Tapology photos, your description of Jovan Leka is pretty spot on for sure. It does look like it. Does look like a snowman. It's pretty funny.
Part of the Lakers.
Yeah, this guy looks. That was pretty accurate. Pretty good job. Yeah, okay, so I mean, one thing I guess I want to say about this fight, and I guess one of the things that could be interesting to use for fights. One of the tools that I use to analyze fights is the Tapology predictions. I always find it interesting to see what people are thinking, and it's not necessarily even the betting public, right? A lot of these people are probably just like fight enthusiasts, MMA enthusiasts, really the fans of MMA, and they really follow it. So out of 2,348 community picks, looks like 89% are on Leica right now. And if you contrast that with with the odds, it's very interesting. Leica opened up at, I believe, it's not popping up right now, but he did open up at something that was even higher than minus 205, which is what he is right now. And the last time that I opened it, it was there's only been like one way action going that way. Like, so I guess according on Bobata, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but he opened up at minus 230. Now he's minus 225. On Bet Online, it was something a little higher though. So could be, to me, it's an indicator of like, the public might be on Leica, and then some of the people who are that just the betting people, they're going with that underdog. That's not to say that one side is always right. Either side is always like a battle each week, right? Like it's either the kind of the tabology people are right, or the people who are pushing you money are right, or the odds makers, they might have the right odds sometimes, depending on how the fight goes. But I find that pretty interesting that it looks like it's going to be a one side or the other this weekend. We'll see what happens. I'm probably gonna agree with you right now because it seemed like you did a lot of great analysis, and especially with that snowman comparison, I think that's pretty spot on. So you definitely did your homework on that. I'll probably ride you a little bit with that. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that's probably all the fights that I wanted to talk about for this card. Yeah, man, UFC Serbia, really random, but I do think that this is probably the week where I'm just gonna, turn off my brain and not overanalyze like I did last week where I overanalyzed a few fights. And I think the favorites this week have a really good shot. That's the overall theme for me. So, and if you guys check on UFC prediction trackers, I mean, we are like top 10 in so many categories, top 5 in some. Our prediction accuracy has been pretty good. So, let's translate that to the bets. But the prediction trackers have been really good. Our favorites, I think we're like number 4 or 5 or something across all of UFC, MMA, like social media and predictors. So usually if there's a favorite, we're pretty spot on. So I think that trend will probably continue this week. Any final thoughts for you on this card or any fights you want to talk about?
Do you see any dogs that could upset on this one?
One for me. All right, so 2. I think I got 2. So first one is, I think, it's more of a favorite week, but if I had to make a dog case for some of these people, I would say Dusko. against Valentin. Um, yeah, I just don't think Valentin is that good personally, man. Like it's just I don't think he should be a favorite in a lot of fights. So yeah, I mean the guy that he beat I think was horrible, and then like Dusko's also coming off a win himself. Like it's not like Dusko's coming off a loss or anything. I think it's a little disrespectful that Dusko. I mean, this guy's been fighting the UFC for like damn. It's like it's been a long time, like 7, 8 years. It's wild, man. It's like this guy's a vet at this point. And then Valentin, you got this guy got his first win against Julian LeBlanc. I mean, it's like I don't know, man. Like I think getting the win off of Medina might be a little better for me. So I think I gotta go Dusko here. But I mean, would I play it? I don't know. I've seen a lot of bad things happen to Dusko, so I'm not sure if I want to watch that. But that's one dog that I could see. Another one, only reason why is Tofiq. I just think that Klein, although he's just man, this guy's he's a fucking G and a dog. I mean, to be able to somehow get that victory against Rebecca that last fight. I mean, if you guys didn't see it, I mean, his leg was like broken, and he survived because he won the first 2 rounds and he survived the last round. A lot of fighters would have just lost that fight, getting finished on the ground or just saying ambulance when that leg break happens. So what a dog! But man, I could have. I don't even remember when that happened. Let me check here. Yeah, that happened like almost a year ago. Like what, like 10, like 9 months ago. Seems pretty soon for a leg break to me. I don't know. Without that leg break, obviously I'll go Klein. I mean, he's just a better fighter, I think, than Tafiq. But that's just a little tricky, man. Like this guy just coming off a leg break. It's minus 230 favorite. I wouldn't mind like a half a unit play on Tafiq, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can talk myself out of it. But right now, those are like two dogs that I'm thinking could be a worthwhile play. How about you?
Yeah, those are 2 that I was also kinda looking at, but I do kinda like, I think I like both Valentin and Klein. I actually think he's, pretty skilled or underrated. I don't think he's that bad. I think the only knock for him is his IQ. I think that he should be grappling when he's striking, and Duskov, I think Duskov, he his only win is also kind of like against a can. I feel like recently, and I just think just skill wise, I think Valentin is actually slightly better in most of the dimensions. I think it's just his decision making in the fight could be kind of shaky, is all. But yeah, that fight, I was leading Valentin, but I'm probably just gonna stay away from that one. And as for Musayev and Klein, I do hear you on the injury. We're not so sure how great Klein is gonna look coming off the injury against Musayev, who'll do anything to win. Whatever it takes to win, he's gonna do
Yep.
it. So, I don't know if we're gonna see him try to cheat again and grab fence or who knows, eye poke or nut shot or whatever, but yeah, he got some John Jones tendencies in him, so you can never count him out, and at dog odds around plus 195, I'm not mad at picking him against a guy who's coming off injury, but skill for skill, I'll still side Klein. I think for right now, I'm probably gonna stay away for that one, but we'll see come Friday when we set our official picks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, I'll tell you, I'm leaning towards going with our confident favorites, parlaying them up, and probably calling it a day, unless there's something crazy that happens throughout the week. But even then, man, like I don't think I'm gonna try to overthink this like I did last week. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep it buck like that. So yeah, I mean that does it for UFC Serbia, 7 a.m. start time, West Coast. Yeah, another interesting fight card in the morning. We'll see you guys for the next video. Best of luck, everybody.